Hi everybody, this is Crystal. So today I'm going to show you how to make this stitch here, the rosebud stitch. It's actually pretty easy as long as you know how to do the basic stitches. I'll show you how to do this cluster here that makes the rosebud. Remember, you can make it in any colors you want. Now the colors that I used, it's all Red Heart Super Saver, which is a medium worsted weight 4 yarn, 100% acrylic. It's just scrap yarn that I had laying around. You can use any medium weight 4 yarn that you like. You can use a lightweight 3 yarn that you like. It's very, very versatile as far as yarn goes. But like I said, these are scraps, so I cannot give you the color names. I don't know what they are. But as always, don't forget to give this video a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my tutorials. I have hundreds of them on my channel, or any of my awesome yarn talk. I love to talk yarn. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Alrighty, so this stitch is done in a multiple of 3. So whatever you want to make, like if you're making a scarf or a blanket or something like that, it just, your beginning chain needs to be divisible equally by 3, a multiple of 3. So for my swatch, I'm doing a chain of 33. But you do, you know, if you're doing scarf or whatnot, you can use whatever length you desire. So once you get your chain made, what we're going to do is we are going to single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. And now we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch for the length of the chain. And I apologize that I'm using white yarn, because I know white yarn doesn't show well against my white background. And I can't change my background, but I really needed to use white yarn for this. So just continue working 1 single crochet in every single stitch until you get to the end of the row. Alright, once you make it to the end of the row, since I started with a chain of 33, I'm going to have 32 stitches now. So whatever chain amount you started with, you will have 1 less stitch. So now we are going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to we're just going to repeat that. So we're going to work 1 single crochet right here into this very, very first stitch. And then we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch until we get to the end of row 2. Just like that. Okay, when you make it to the end of row 2, you should have the same amount of stitches that you did at the end of row 1. Now I'm going to tie my yarn off. I'm going to clip it, and I'm going to start a new color. Okay, so now I am going to turn my work, and I'm going to start my green yarn right here into the very first stitch. So go ahead and go into that first stitch, draw up a loop, chain 1. Now we're going to go back into the same stitch and double crochet. Okay, now we are going to skip 1 stitch and V-stitch into the next. So skip 1, and in the next one we are going to V-stitch, which is 1 double, chain 1, and 1 double. That's our V-stitch. Now we're going to start the repeat. So now we're going to skip 2 stitches, skip, skip, and V-stitch into the next. So skip 2 and V-stitch into the next, which is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Again, skip 2, skip, skip, V-stitch into the next, skip 2, skip, skip, V-stitch into the next. Now we're going to repeat this pattern until we get to the end of the row. Skip 2, skip, skip, V-stitch into the next. Alright, I'm coming to the end, and I did my last V-stitch and I have 2 stitches left. I'm going to skip 1 and I'm going to double crochet into the last stitch. And now I am going to clip this off and start with the color that I want to use for my flower. Like that. So I want to turn my work like that. And now I'm going to bring in my flower color. So we are going to start into the very first double crochet. So go right into it. Pull your yarn through, draw up a loop, chain 1. Go right back into the same spot and double crochet. And now we are going to do a chain of 1. And we're going to work into this chain space of the V-stitch. And we're going to work a cluster. So a cluster is yarn over, go into the space, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through the first 2 loops on our hook. We want to do that 5 times. This counts as number 1. So again, yarn over, go into the same space, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through the first 2 loops on your hook. That's 2 times. Yarn over, go into the same space, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through the first 2 loops. There's 3 times. Yarn over, go into the same space, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through the first 2. There's 4 times. One more time. Yarn over, go into the same space, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2 loops. Now you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops that remain. Yarn over, go through all 6 loops, pull it tight. Now we're going to chain 2. And now we're going to do that again in this next V-stitch. We're going to do the cluster. Again, yarn over, go into this V-stitch, chain space, draw up a loop, yarn over, and go through the first 2 loops. We want to do that 5 times total, so that was number 1. Go through the first 2, there's 2 times, yarn over, draw up a loop, go through the first 2, that's 3 times, yarn over, draw up a loop, go through the first 2, that's 4 times, yarn over, go into the same space, draw up a loop, go through the first 2, that's 5 times. Now you have 6 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through all 6, pull it tight, and chain 2. And that is what we're going to repeat all the way across. We're going to put a cluster in each one of these V-stitches with a chain 2 after each one. So I'll go ahead and do it again. Just like that. So those will pop out a little bit. I'm going to repeat this pattern until I get to the end of the row. Alright, I'm coming to the end of row 4. I did my last cluster, but at the end I'm only going to do a chain of 1, and then I'm going to end my row by double crocheting into the top of the last double crochet. And now I am going to tie off this color, and I'm going to start again with my white. So that's what it starts to look like. So I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to bring my white back in. And I'm going to start my white right here into this very first double crochet. Draw up a loop, chain 1. Now I'm going to go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now I'm going to single crochet in every chain space and in every cluster. So we had one chain space here, so we need to go into that spot in chain space, or in single crochet. And then we need to single crochet right here on top of the cluster. So if you pull it up, you'll see right here in this spot, go right into there and single crochet. And now we chain 2 between the clusters, so we need to put 2 single crochets. And then again, single crochet on top of the cluster, 2 single crochets in the chain 2 space, so go right in between, single crochet on top of the cluster right here, single crochet, 2 single crochets into the chain 2 space, and then we're just going to repeat this to the end. 1 single crochet on top of the cluster, 2 single crochets into this chain 2 space. So go ahead and repeat this pattern until you get to the end of the row. Okay, I'm coming to the end of the row. I just single crocheted in my last cluster. Now remember, we chained 1 here at the end, so go right into that space and single crochet, and then end by single crocheting into the top of that double crochet. That'll end a row 5. Now we are going to chain 1 and turn our work, and we're going to do a row of single crochet again. So single crochet right here into the very first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in every stitch across until we get to the end of the row. Alright, once you make it to the end, that's what we're going to keep repeating now. We're going to keep repeating rows 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the V-stitch row, the cluster row, and then the 2 rows of single crochet. So rows 3, 4, 5, and 6. You can change color of flowers as often as you like, or keep them all the same color. You can change leaf colors or keep them all the same color. You can change the colors of your single crochet. It's completely up to you. So after row 6, I'm just going to start repeating row 3. So I am going to clip off, turn my work, and I'm going to start again with my green, my leaves. You're going to have a lot of tails to hide, but that's okay. So we're going to start in that very first stitch, just like we did. Draw up a loop, chain 1, and go right back in that same stitch and double crochet. And now we just chain 1 here at first, skip 1, and V-stitch into the next. And now we start our repeat by skipping 2. Skip, skip, and V-stitch into the next. So what I'm going to do now, like I said, is I'm going to repeat rows 3, 4, 5, and 6. Changing colors as often as you like until you get your desired size made. All right, there it is. Now you can do as many rows as you'd like. I think it turned out good. If you want to make a scarf out of this or a blanket out of this, it'd be super easy, super pretty. Color possibilities would be endless, and it would be very gorgeous. And then you could just do like a row of single crochet as a border for a blanket. That'd be pretty, or a row of shells. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and I hope you're able to follow along okay. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel. Check out those hundreds and hundreds of videos right there on the right hand side of the screen. I got hundreds of tutorials, yarn talk, everything crochet yarn related. I got it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good day.